bridge. I don't have to belong to just one culture, occupy this one space. So I can be this in-between. And I think that's a really important realization for people with mixed whakapapa to come to.
During the abolition of slavery, my ancestors were given the name of their slave owners. A reminder to the definition of ownership and its longevity. A brand that identifies a claim of ownership.
I came from a classroom that had no paintbrushes, no art teacher who wouldn't show up half the time. And I come from an area where no one told you could be an artist.
We want to retain our individuality as a race. If judged by your standards we fall short, does it matter very much whether we square up with the Pākehā standards or not?
Kai reira te mea kotahi. He kaha atu I ngā tauā katoa o te ao. Ko te māramatanga tērā. Kua mutu te wā ki a koe.
I'm a singing ass rapper with a bone to pick. Tell a friend, tell your mom where we going big.
It's so cool being like the creator of the vibe.
Can't stop, won't stop, till I'm global, yes.
Being up there and making something that people want to dance to. We are the vibe controllers. We get the party started, we get people moving. Like, it's an honor to be able to do that.
Stop, won't stop, can't stop, won't stop, yeah.
Ko tainui te waka, ko hoturoa te tangata, ko tararoa te paimaunga, ko waiwiri te roto, ko oho te awa, ko Ngāti Raukawa te iwi, ko Ngāti Pākehā te iwi, ko Ngāti Huia te hapu, ko Kikopiri te marae. He kai puoro ahau, he kai pāo ahau, he kai tito waiata, creator of vibes.
Everybody down with the, now everybody down with the, everybody down with the, everybody love the sound of the.
We're at the Brooklyn Gun Emplacements. This is one of the spots I used to come up to as a kid and muck around with my mates. It's a dope spot. You see all of Wellington, down to the city, down to the harbour and out to Cook Strait. And Wellington, man, it was a dope place to grow up. It is really a cool, creative capital, you know. First 21 years of my life I was here. I'm still pretty keyed into the Wellington music scene here, even though I'm not here that much. Today is the Greyland Festival, which is a bit of like an iconic festival in Auckland. It marks the start of summer. It's the first of like the outdoorsy kind of festivals around Auckland. Yeah, it's cool, whānau friendly kind of event. Lots of tamariki running around. It's cool because you can see everyone's faces. You know, if you're doing like big shows at night or like in clubs and stuff, like it's real dark and you can't really see what's going on. But like these full daytime gigs, I feel it was way more intimate, even though it's like massive and you're in the middle of a field. It's a cool feeling and it, you know, keeps me motivated to get back in the studio and make more bangers. In my whānau, the Māori culture was kind of lost a few generations back during the period where it wasn't cool to be Māori. Luckily for me, my mum fell in love with the culture and fell in love with te ao Māori. So I grew up going along to her te reo lessons and to various things at marae. That grounded me in te ao Māori and helped make me who I am today.
Well, it was part of a long journey around identifying myself as Māori, I suppose. I grew up knowing we had Māori whakapapa and calling myself part Māori. So it took a while to get to a place where I felt able to say, I am Māori. And then, of course, come to the marae and bring whānau back to the marae. It was significant for us. I suppose I was affected by the whole cultural renaissance of the 1980s. There was a time when it was a buzzy thing that was happening around the revival of the reo and our customs and our politics.
Mama tried tell me to save up for those rainy days.
Cog is a studio out in Titirangi, just on the edge of the Waitakere Ranges. And Cog Studio have been going for like 20 years in New Zealand. They've been a big part of all these amazing artists like P Money and Scribe and Peter T and Shapeshifter.
Let's see who's laughing us and who's not.
And made a couple more singles, funded singles with them. I just got along with them so well that we decided to keep working together and kind of make a co-label and co-release the album.
It's important to have someone like Ray because he represents the now. He is the current hybridization of all these worlds that have come together and this whole new renaissance that's coming through culturally in New Zealand. No one else can take te reo Māori to the world really apart from someone who comes from the world of te reo Māori. And that's unique, but mixing it in a way with totally cutting-edge pop and urban music is also something that no one's really doing. And so he's the first of that wave, which is a really nice place to be.
Yeah, I guess I'm just too Mickey. Them DJs about to learn a new lesson.
So a couple years back, I dropped my first ever fully te reo Māori EP. Te reo Māori, that's an important part of who I am, but it's also an important part of who we are as Kiwis, am I right? Yes, sir!
During my tour around the country, it was so dope to see people singing and rapping my English lyrics as well as my te reo Māori lyrics back to me. I think that's awesome that my music is helping, solidifying te reo in our culture in New Zealand. When you actually are on stage seeing people have this connection to your music, that's a beautiful thing.
Let's go! 1, 2, 3!
The most important members of society are those people that mediate or bridge between two worlds. And the music is the art form that can do that. And I think the interest, especially from the younger people under the age of 30, is really, really good. They're really open to it, and as I said, they're really wanting it to be really modernised and current, so it can drop into a standard DJ set with all the international tracks.
I don't make traditionally type Māori music, I do it my way, I push it forward, I push the envelope, I rap about things that no one else is going to rap about. This is Happy, this is Tira.
Yeah. So Happy was like a mentor to him, that's why he's kind of standing on top of him.
Yep.
Beautiful, eh? He tino taonga tō tātou reo rangatira. It's a language at risk, so it's important to keep it alive, keep it strong, keep it moving into the future. But I suppose everybody wants to find a point of difference. It's something that adds richness and depth to who we are.
Yep.
And so I'm really proud of you that you express that through your music and your beautiful kupu Māori.
I'm a bridge. I don't have to belong to just one culture, occupy this one space. So I can be this in between. And I think that's a really important realization for people with mixed whakapapa to come to.
Kua hau te kaihanga o taku wao. Kua hau ka hanga I tana tumu me te tīpoko I tana ihirangi. Ka marama ake o whekitenga I tō titiro. Ki tō ake ngākau. Nā kai titiro whakawaho, ka moi moi a. Nā kai titiro whakaroto, ka mai ea.
From the plastic of a toothbrush to the polycarbon in your phone, you will dispose of all your possessions one day. The only thing you will own forever is your name. During the abolition of slavery, my ancestors were given the name of their slave owners, a reminder to the definition of ownership and its longevity, a mark that was made skin deep, a brand that identifies a claim of ownership, a barcode, if you will, permanently tattooed onto the back of their necks. My name is Kii Winston Small, go by Kii Winston, and I'm a youth changemaker. So I'm in Wellington, but I hail from Kaitaia. I was born in Bermuda, and I went to school there and everything. I definitely rep Barbados. All my family's from there. In 2010, my parents moved to New Zealand for me. They took the leap just to make sure that I had more opportunity over here. When I first arrived, Kaitaia was cold. It was mad cold. We were told that it was the warmest spot in New Zealand, and I was like, yo, they were lying. For a number of reasons, I felt isolated. It's not the same sort of food, it's not the same weather. You know, seeing one black person every 50 miles, it sounds silly, but it's a change of home. And that isolation can sort of affect you because you feel like you have to change as a person. And you grow up and you sort of confused as, do I have to change or do I keep my old identity of being this person I was in the West Indies? I always followed the political environment in Bermuda. So that's when I was first interested in politics. I applied to be a Northern Youth MP in 2015, and in 2016 I learned that I got it. I quickly realized that I'd be working with the Right Honourable Winston Peters. Only 120 young people every 3 years get the opportunity to work with their MP. What I learned from that experience was no matter what you say, no matter what you do, if it appears this way, that's what people are going to believe, and you have to kind of roll with that. The second thing I learned was just my work ethic has to be on top. I got to keep going. Even if it's a failure, we just got to learn from it. We don't shy away from anything. This will be a prompt, and it will be, what's something you're hoping to gain from this project? Have you felt unique in the last year? So the Say So project I started in 2017. It's a storytelling platform for young people all around New Zealand. We just want young people to start journaling and start sharing their stories and using those stories to help other young people around New Zealand stop feeling isolated.
You know, the truth of the reality is, Kai, if you're not white in this nation, you gotta work 10 times as hard.
So, the ultimate goal is that we have young people all around New Zealand from different backgrounds, and they can sort of make up, I guess, like a library. Anybody who's struggling, anybody who's going through an issue where they feel isolated can come and sort of feel as if, they're not alone. The reason I chose Wellington was just, I wanted to study politics. I wanted to get to know, the New Zealand system a little bit better. Also, I wanted to know, what the city was about. All the people from Kaitaia were going to Auckland. Nobody from Kaitaia was down here. It wasn't too long after first year where I ended up in the youth parliament and then banquet hall and things like that. So I realized that my long-term goal wasn't as hard as I really realized. So yeah, but still maintaining the same work ethic, still the same drive to get to where I needed to be. And there's always new goals every year.
Vegas, and we're doing a tomato and potato and cauliflower situation.
Sweet. So today, just hanging out with some friends, just hanging out with the homies really. Ikta invited us over to make some food, and she always makes way too much for whoever she's got coming over, so me and Callum pop by and help with making the curries, and yeah, just have a good time, really. I love cooking because it's like my creative outlet sort of thing.
And then Riley and Andy's gonna make some bread for us.
Oh, yeah. I love cooking with my friends. They can all cook and they're all like got really good taste in food and cultures. You know, there's always groups of friends that have their own creative outlet, whether it be music, whether it be sports. But like in my circle, everybody loves to cook, everybody loves to eat. We always eat too much, so yeah, just love cooking with friends because they all respect the dishes and respect the food. Salient magazine is the university magazines for Victoria University. I started working for them in 2018, but in 2019 I started working for them as the editor-in-chief. Well, I started writing My Name Is My Name about my identity crisis, as well as finding out what my name actually meant and my lineage and my family history. The article really focuses around the metaphor of the barcode of, I guess, supermarket items, and sort of treating every single human as having a barcode. Every single barcode is different, and the best thing about the barcode is it makes us unique, but also the worst thing about the barcode is your barcode actually yours. In Barbados, there was slavery plantations, mostly for sugarcane. On those plantations, many slaves worked, and when slavery was abolished, the slaves picked up the names of their slave masters. So their last names were never their last names, and it's really hard to trace back. Having no identity to subscribe to grants me the feeling of freedom when I wake up in the morning. The surname I carry is fabricated. It means nothing, yet everything to me. The name is absent, but the numbers matter. My purpose in life is to buy back my barcode, the black and white lines, make it my own name, to create value and reputation for my last name, to make myself my only position.
A lot of times with like digital social media marketing, you kind of have to make the push and make sure it's kind of interesting enough that people catch on to it. But it just caught on, and people were sharing it all over their stories and kind of going like the sentiment behind this is so pure and so driven to kind of answer some questions that it just blew up naturally, and I could kind of repost everyone else's stories. It was quite an easy week to be a social media manager.
It was going off on Instagram, like people were sharing it. People were like going off on Twitter. They were like, oh, this is amazing. Like, this is perfect journalism. So many lovely things. And I fully felt like I knew myself. Like, for the first time in my life, I was just like, I'm confident in who I am.
Kua kore e rereke I a tātou. Me nā kaore e tau te katia. Kaore I tū atu I te kōtonga. Ngā hinganga, ngā tīwara hiamo, ngā ngaronga katoa. He kākano kei roto. He ako ngā hei whakapiki I a koe anō, mō tua atu.
You're a savage and you should line up waiting for wins. That all we are is a criminal. I feel like it's a stereotype that's still kind of attached. A lot of time growing up in the media, I saw yourself reflected in that idea. Kia ora, my name's Chevron Hassett. I'm an artist, originally from Naenae, Hutt, and I'm currently based in Wellington City. And I'm of Ngāti Porou and Rongoa Wahine descent. Growing up, my dad was in jail most of the time. That was my experience of what a male was. My age group, it was very common for them to all go to prison. I was real fortunate that I was kind of that opportunity for me to find something more in life. So Naenae is a stay housing community, one of the oldest in New Zealand. Kind of made originally for a lot of soldiers coming back from the war, and then a lot of urban Māori drift came through, and then the Pacifica migrants. Now it has a huge refugee population too, so it's very diverse. When I was at intermediate, one of these boys brought in a book for show and tell, and it had his cousin's graffiti in it, and it sparked my interest. And so that same day, I went and got some markers and I started writing my name walking home, on poles, on fences, and then they just progressed into painting on tracks and doing other things up on buses, and it led into the police and they're trying to get me charged with damages. It's not really worth going to jail for, eh? That was a big focus for me when they started happening. Maybe I should try, give university a go. Because I was doing graffiti, spray painting, and using a lot of acrylic, I thought maybe I would go to fine art school to learn how to paint. When I first went to university, I was the only Māori one in my degree at the time, until about my second year. And also Māori that are there, a lot of them do come from middle class homes. Lower class Māori or more working class Māori don't actually attend art school, design school. A lot of the things that I didn't know how people viewed about me, I learned more while I was there. People talking about my type of people in the same class, you know, talking down about us. And I remember other Māori also putting me down because I come from those neighbourhoods. And I took some extra papers and I got really interested in culture and photography, and so I remember making the decision to transfer into design school. Here we're at the Dallas Art Museum in Lower Hutt City. It's my project called The Children of Māori from 2017 to 2019. And I went on a variety of trips up and down the East Coast and stayed up with family members and friends and photographed significant sites relating to my whakapapa and relating to oral histories, and kind of connecting past, present and future entwined in a lot of these works.
It's really exciting for Chevron's from Naenae, so sort of just down the road, and it's really nice being able to reconnect with that local sort of community for him and for us. Especially for young people coming to see the show as well. I think they can sort of connect with it and also hope that if they want to be an artist, that this is inspiring for them to be like, yeah, I can be like Chevron.
I come back here to make an artwork for a show that's coming up called Commoner. I guess the basis of it is looking at the realities of Māori men. And so I'm making a work related to prison reform and prison population of Māori men. And so I just designed this Rimitaka prison uniform. On the back it has 1994, the year I was born, and that's just symbolising that when I'm born, this is kind of what I'm destined to be, you know? I still see a lot of people around me falling into that trap and getting caught up in that. It's also where my dad was, and so a lot of my memories growing up was going there to meet him. So I thought I'd make a work for this exhibition around that, around the idea, and I name it Restorative. I got commissioned by the Wellington Council to do a public art display in Courtney Place, and it was called A Place to Be. Conceptually, it was based on a Aotearoa centred in the city. 8 double-sided LED light boxes that I visioned as Poe, and I installed 16 images of young urban Māori from different tribal links and mixed heritage. So I became the Wellington City Council's Toi Pōneke Build Your Artist in Residence for 2019. We posted a project on Naenae, and I did my first large video work. Had portraits of people that I grew up with in the area, in the community, around my age group, and put them in a place where they felt at home in Naenae. And then I also put that on the back of buses throughout the city. You know, I started drawing on the back of buses and stuff, so it was really a special moment to 10 years later come back and get paid to do it. Do you see anything that needs to be touched up? Maybe, yeah, this colour. See how it's a darker blue? I think this is the right blue. Looks like it.
It's just it.
Yeah, this is the right one, eh? So let's go touch it up. Work out in Tide at the community centre 3 to 4 days a week, depending, and I run art programs for 14 to 18-year-olds. I find they like purple if you want to touch up the mangapare designs.
The mural took a couple months. It's been fun doing it with my friends, and you know, there's a lot of meaning behind it, and I'm excited to put it into the community so other people can see it as well. I want other people to recognise art and the meaning it can have behind it.
I try my best to share opportunities with the young people, give them an insight, and so that they feel like, oh, this could be a place for me to be around, you know? And also to build their consciousness of what there is in the world. we were in Naenae, we're just on one of the murals I just did here for the community. I was fortunate enough to have one of my students work alongside it called Chavez. We got a 10-metre mural with the roimata, patiki and tiki hands, and it's all about trying to bring positive, uplifting, reaching your goals here, but also for me as an artist from here, give back. As I've gone older and I've started to mature as an adult, you realise that there's different accessibility for different things in life and for different people. I came from a classroom that had no paintbrushes, no art teacher who wouldn't show up half the time. I come from an area where no one told you could be an artist. All that energy you take up as a kid, I hope young kids like me can transfer that into something creative.
No he arawa koe e tūtaki ki tētahi hoariri pai, ke atu I te tūai kerekere.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.